Aloha, everybody. Welcome to Tiki Tuesday Talks. Very excited for this session we're about to kick off. Let's put everybody on and say hello. Hey,
everybody.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Where's everybody calling from?
Are you going to call on us?
Sure. And Louise, let's hear from you.
Hi, I'm Louise. I am calling from, currently I'm in Santa Barbara, California.
Amazing. Joy, welcome.
Hi, I'm Joy, calling from good old Kingston, Jamaica. The city with music and vibes.
Amazing, amazing. Mom and Dad, Tom and Jenny Nevinglaski.
Hi.
How's Wildwood?
Calling from Barcelona, Motel, and Wildwood Crest, New Jersey.
Virtual Tiki site.
Tina and Eric. Virtual Tiki. This is the new way, the new path forward. Steva.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm still in Birmingham. It's very hot and gray.
Aaron Joseph.
Hello, everybody. Still in Baltimore, growing my hair out still. So,
yeah, the look. That's the look. All right, excellent. So today we have a very special session. The Queen of Rum, Joy Spence, Appleton Estate Master Blender, and Louise Marquis, Portfolio Brand Ambassador from Campari. Going to be a really awesome session, learning about the journey, a bit about the history. I'm going to let those guys do most of the talking, get out of the way primarily. Then we're going to have a rad cocktail that Aaron's going to make. In terms of agenda, as usual, so chat box and questions. If you guys are on Crowdcast, please use the chat box to ask questions. We'll collect them and we'll bring them to Joy as it goes. I'll try and answer as we go if I can. Feel free to share the event either through a watch party via Facebook or in your Crowdcast app. Presentation will be about 30-40 minutes. Cocktail session 10. 5 questions with the Tiki fam will be coming up after that. So just by way of a little introduction, Joy, Master Blender, Appleton Estate, has the honor of being the first woman to hold the position in the spirits industry. So she's responsible for ensuring quality and consistency of existing blends, creating new blends, and monitoring the company's inventory. Simply put, her job is to meet the high standards that consumers have grown to love and expect of Appleton. She joined as chief chemist in 1981, where her passion for the art of creating rum blends was inspired by her predecessor and mentor at the company, Owen Tulloch. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And Louise Marquis is the portfolio brand ambassador for Campari. I will now hand it over to them to have this.
I love that Joy's bio is like 5 paragraphs and mine is 1 line, which is appropriate. And that's great. Great. Thank you.
Actually.
Thank you for having us, Pete. We love Tiki by the Sea. It's a project that's near and dear to my heart. And I'm also from Point Pleasant, New Jersey. I was born in Cape May.
Oh, man. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, wow. I was born in Cape May. So I every year I'm like, we have to do it because I want to go see where I was born. We moved away when I was a baby, but there's definitely a spot in my heart for that part of the world. So I'm really glad that we get to be here today with you.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. And funny thing, I grew up in Freehold, is where I spent most of my time. So I went to Point Pleasant many times as well. So shared a lot of the same locations.
A lot of skee ball at the boardwalk with my grandpa. That was our thing.
It's a great game. Still a great game.
Still a great game.
Awesome. I'll hand it over to you guys to have the chat that we're here for.
Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. Again, my name is Louise. My pronouns are she and her. I'm really excited today to be interviewing the one and only. I call her the Queen of Rum. She is our master blender at Appleton Estate and really one of my favorite people in the whole world and my favorite person to interview, Joy Spence, today. I wish this was happening in person. I wish we were all together, but the magic of technology lets us tune in from wherever we are, and we can be safe and we can still connect, which is such a treat. Joy, how is Jamaica right now?
Well, we having some little pockets of spread. We have two parishes, sections that are now under quarantine, so they cannot leave their areas. They have to stay with boundaries. But we're having small pockets of spread, which is a little bit of concern.
Yeah, and you're kind of been at home and doing these digital events all over the world right now, right?
Yes. I'm trying.
Where's
If I don't go, well, I was locked away like for about 4 months. So
I know.
I just got released like a month ago.
We have to keep you safe. You're very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, so the government realized that we all needed protection. So, whereas everybody else was walking up and down, I had to stay home. So even there's a little boy that lives down the road. He comes and looks for me every evening. He couldn't come through the gate. He was crying. He couldn't come in. He tried to climb the wall. I said, no, you can't come in. Here, I hate this virus. I hate it. He's only 3, but he's quite afraid with virus, hand sanitizer, you name it.
I identify with him. I also hate this virus. I understand. But so where's the furthest place you've talked to during this time?
Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. So you're doing these all over the world. So thank you so much for being part of this one today, and with me.
Yeah.
So we did something similar when we were in Miami for Rum Congress, and we had such a good time doing it. So I thought we would just bring this back. So instead of a really formal presentation with a PowerPoint and slides, I really just wanted to talk to you and ask you some questions about Appleton, to talk about some of the history of the estate and the history of the rum, and a little bit about you and your history and your background. And also to tell people about the new Appleton 8 that just launched and talk about the new packaging today. So that's sort of what I'm thinking. We're going to go in that direction. But, sometimes you say something that will take me on a whole nother tangent. But Dwayne asked this really great question the other day on another interview with you. So I wanted you to tell everybody. So I've been hearing you be called more often Dr. Spence. Can you talk about how you became Dr. Spence?
Well, in 2010, I actually got a call followed by a letter from my alma mater in the UK, where I did my master's in analytical chemistry. And they said that, they were so proud of my international achievements, they're going to honor me with an honorary doctorate of science. I said, oh my gosh, this is, so cool.
Yeah.
I'll accept it. So about a month later, I got a call from the University of the West Indies in Jamaica to say, we're so proud of you that we're going to give you an honorary doctorate of laws. And I'm saying, lightning doesn't strike the same place twice. In June, I went to the UK to receive my honorary doctorate. And in October, I received my honorary doctorate in Jamaica.
So you are a double doctor.
Double doctor.
So we're able, but I can call you Dr. Spence. That's appropriate, correct?
If you wish. But I don't
focus. I know. I like to call you Joy. I call you Auntie and I call you Joy, but if people want to. Enjoy. So can you tell us a little bit about, I know Pete gave the introduction, but could you tell us about your role at Appleton Estate and what you do and how you influence everything that we might drink from the estate?
Okay, so my role at the moment is really focusing on innovation and developing new liquids, because this is where we're going to move into the new zone of innovation, limited time offerings, creating focus on the existing brand. And of course, any new package development, I'm involved. And of course, last but not least, being a global ambassador, because I travel the world prior to COVID. From everywhere I went.
And when you talk about innovation, what could that look like? Like, what are some examples of things you've created?
Okay, well, Well, for innovation, the first thing is that we look at the various markets and see if there are little niche products that we need for that particular market. Sometimes the marketing team sends in a request, or we might do a study ourselves and say, you know, we think that we should probably relaunch this particular product. Maybe a very old blend that we had long ago that we thought that would create interest for the bartenders, for example. Then we look at the inventory. Important is looking at our inventory. We have like 170,000 barrels aging. We have the largest of old rum aging in the entire Caribbean. And so when I look at the stocks, I said, okay, I'm going to pull from here, pull from there, create this very exciting new blend. And most of the limited editions we have done so far are very old rums. So we had the Joy 25-year-old, we have the year-old, and now we have the Journey 23. So all very old rums in our releases.
And can you talk a little bit about Joy? Because that was such a special product when you made that. And I think some people might have a bottle back at their bar, and they may have picked it up knowing it was special, but maybe didn't know exactly why. Could you talk about the story behind that bottle?
Yes. So,
and that expression?
Yes. So Campari asked me in 2017 to develop a rum to celebrate not only my 35 years in the industry at that time, but also my 20 years as master blender. And I felt so honored. I really went home and actually cried, right? And told my husband, this has never, ever happened to me in my entire life, that somebody's asked me to create a special blend in my honor. Mm-hmm. And so I had this 35-year-old pot still rum hidden away, waiting for the day that somebody would say, make your own blend, don't be influenced by anyone, make your own blend. And I said, oh my gosh, this is going to be the heart and soul of my blend. So I used this remarkable 35-year-old pot still that had these amazing, spicy, fruity, orange peel, vanilla notes, brought depth to that particular blend. And then I used 25-year-old other pot stills and column still rums. And so we're working through the development project. I was involved in selecting the bottle because I wanted a very unique bottle. The canister, my favorite color, purple. And then this went on, this project went on as a code. And somewhere near to the end now, I was told, we're going to name the rum after you. I said, what? He said, yes, we're going to name it Appleton.
So you didn't know that?
No, the project had a code name.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so it was really touching to me. And to see that when it was launched, at that time, Jamaicans still weren't focused on very high-end premium rums. And the minute it came out, within 2 weeks, the Jamaican allocation was depleted. And everywhere it was depleted. And I received the Rum of the Year in 2017 for that particular blend. And so it was really quite an experience for me and really quite an honor to have been able to do this. And when I look at it, I'm not family, I'm just a regular employee. And to see that I was given the opportunity to have a rum named in my honor, it's just totally amazing and out of this world.
Well, Joy, you're being a little modest. You aren't, you don't own the company, but we do value you. And we just reopened the visitor center, and they also named that after you as well.
Yeah, that again was just circle. Because again, when they decided that they wanted to remodel the old visitor center, actually we just, put everything back to square one and started to build from scratch. So it went through phases of development. And so we know that we're going to open it in January of 2018. And so I was in Milan in the, somewhere the year before, a couple months before. And the managing director said to me, he said, Joy, I need to talk to you. He said, come, let me find a private corner. So he said to me, I've decided to name the new experience in your honor. It's going to be the Joy Spence Appleton Estate Rum Experience. I said, no, Bob. I was just, and I know what the name of the facility is going to be. It's not the Joy Spence Appleton Rum Experience. He said, because of course they're all keeping it a secret. So he said, listen to me. Who is the managing director? You.
You or me.
Yes, I'm telling you, that is going to have your name. Believe you me, I cried. And I don't cry easily, but I cried because I said this would never have happened in the history of this company. And so it's up until now when I go there, I still have to pinch myself, I said, is this really happening? Is this really so? Because I just couldn't believe it.
Oh, I love that. So I want to talk a little bit about how we got from your beginning to now, to this moment where they said we're going to name this after you. But I would love to just step back and ask you to talk about rum in general. And we have a lot of tiki nerds listening and rum nerds, but just how would you describe rum and how would you explain the category as a whole to someone who's never heard of it before?
Well, first of all, rum is probably one of the most versatile spirits that we have in the world. It's capable of so many different variations, styles, flavors, and it can be consumed in any occasion. From a nice lively party, you have a rum for that, or a very in a romantic setting, you have a rum for that occasion too. So it straddles everything in entertainment. And
I love it.
The thing about rum now is the premium age rum category. That is the category that is growing. That is hot. That's what everybody is now clamoring for. Because you find that the younger people are now more interested in quality than quantity. Days gone by when they're going to college, they're interested in quantity, but now they're interested in quality and having a rum that they really can sit and sip and enjoy, or maybe just have it in a very sophisticated cocktail. And so this is where rum has now transitioned into a very intriguing, exciting, and premium spirit.
Mm-hmm. And what about the history of early rum in Jamaica? And how is the history of rum in Jamaica maybe a little different from other islands?
Well, I think the history of rum really got off the ground in Jamaica when the British captured the island from the Spaniards. So if we look at Appleton Estate, for example, that happened in 1655 when the Dickinson family actually was part of the whole Inquisition, and they were actually given the Appleton Estate as a land grant from the British government. They were really lucky, right? To have a beautiful place as a gift with an estate there. And then we could not claim the 1655 as a start of our distillery and sugar factory because we lost our records in our earthquake in 1907. And so the only documentation we have goes back to 1749, where we can definitely say the first production of rum started there at Appleton. So if you look back, at the old photos, I have a photo in my kitchen, a big photo of the old Appleton Estate. You will see like a cart with some barrels on it. You will see like one little house where they actually had making sugar and getting the molasses dripping off into a container. Then a little closer to that, you had the small still distilling. And then they would put it in the barrels and then they ship those barrels off to the UK. So a lot of rum was really not kept back in Jamaica. It was, was used basically as a trading unit, a currency. Right. So ships from the UK would come with textiles and other goods, and then rum would be used now as a currency, as an exchange, and it will go on the ship and go back to the UK. But over the years, things changed. We started to increase our production, and then you find that we now started to drink the rum in Jamaica. It was no longer just being for export. And as a matter of fact, when you had there was a shortage of whiskey in the 1940s because those British soldiers used to import whiskey and drink it because they came from the UK. And there was a shortage. And so we actually developed Appleton Special to actually be the substitute for whiskey.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. And so this is how Appleton Special actually became big and known. And it was bottled at a particular alcoholic strength that was not allowed legally by the excise. And so they used to have these fancy bars and they would have the bottle of Appleton Special underneath the counter. And so they used to call it bend down rum, right? and pull up the bottle and pour it because the strength was too high. And eventually, after that, Appleton Special was around for quite some time. And then we started to introduce old expressions. So we had so many old expressions from Appleton Estate. And when Ray Nephew was purchased in 1825 by John Ray, he started to bottle everything under the Ray and Nephew label, although the rums came from Appleton Estate. But
okay.
right, but he bottled it under Ray and Nephew.
So there was Appleton Estate, and then the Ray family business bought Appleton Estate.
Yes, yeah.
And then started producing everything under Ray and Nephew. So there's a time where there's a lot of, now we think of Ray and Nephew as sort of an unaged, overproof, like white rum.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a time where Ray and Nephew was producing what we think at Appleton now. Okay.
Exactly. So you had like 3 dagger, 2 dagger, 1 dagger, all produced at Appleton, but you would see Ray and Nephew on the label. By the time it reached like 1960s, 70s, they would put 1 or 2 SKUs with the Appleton name on it, but not Appleton Estate, just Appleton. And so when I joined the company in 1981, we had like the Appleton 20-year-old in a ceramic jug. We had a 12 in a ceramic jug, and we had some, Appleton Special Reserve, etc. And then in 1986, we decided to create the Appleton Estate range, which we said would now be a premium rums with different expressions in that range. And so that is when we had the Appleton Estate 5-year-old. So we had Appleton Estate 5-year-old. Then we had to switch to Appleton Estate VX because so well, we didn't have enough stocks to certify a minimum age anymore. Okay? Because whenever you had a 5-year-old rum, we're selling so much. And so we had to go back to and call it VX without an age statement. Then we introduced our 12 and we introduced the 21. And over a period of time, we now, changed our packaging. So we went through so many different package changes, but the liquid remained the same. And today in 2020, we no longer have signatures. Sorry, VX.
You don't have VX.
Has signature, right? And we now have Reserve 8-year-old, and we have 12-year-old rare cask. So that's where we are today with the transition coming through the years.
I love that. Every time you tell me, I learn new stories. So wait, sorry, what were you going to say? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Journey for me from 1981 to now to see the changes. I remember distinctly when we were shipping like maybe 15 cases to America. That was
15?
Yeah, 15.
Times have definitely changed. We're sending a lot more.
And then people saying, "You sure they're going to drink our rum?" That's the people on the bottle lining up. What are they really going to drink our rum? I said, "But of course, it's good quality rum. It's going to grow and grow." And here we are today.
Love that. And that's a great segue to say, so how do you recommend drinking Appleton? And also, how do people drink rum in Jamaica? Because I think I think the way we drink rum in the US is a little different, maybe. Like, I think, so can you talk a little bit about that?
Okay, so in Jamaica, we still don't have a very sophisticated cocktail culture. So most Jamaicans will mix with their favorite mixer. Well, we call it chaser, but you don't understand chaser. So it's mixer, right? So they said they chase the rum with ting, they chase the rum with ginger ale, they chase it with cranberry juice or something, or chase it with tonic water, but it's really mixed. There's a mixing. So it's really a mixing culture. We're just getting into that cocktail category. And of course, we now have a bigger group of persons, especially young professionals now, who are moving into just having it neat on the rocks, just enjoying the pure spirit. But in terms of globally now, all rums, we have a rum in the range for any occasion. So our signature rum is great for any kind of cocktail. It transforms an ordinary cocktail into something extraordinary. Then we have our new entrant, our Appleton Estate Reserve 8-year-old. And of course, this is a minimum age rum for 8 years. And you can either have this simply neat on the rocks or in what we call very sophisticated cocktails. Good example is a Mai Tai, right? Makes it Mai Tai. And we're really associating that with the Jamaican history for Mai Tai and the linkages between Trader Vic and J. Neville. And then there is a rare cask 12-year-old, again, simply having it neat, or you can have it in a beautiful old fashioned. I prefer to have it with brown sugar instead of simple syrup. And then the luxury, Appleton Estate 21, which is just simply just enjoying neat. So, you know, rum for any occasion. And that's what Appleton Estate range is all about. You know, depending on the expression, you can drink accordingly.
I love that. And I know we have some fans of Ray and Nephew who are also listening today, and you also oversee the production of that. Could you talk a little bit about the importance of Ray and Nephew in Jamaica? Well,
first of all, I like to say that Ray and Nephew overproof rum. The first production was in 1951, the year that I was born. Yes, believe it or not.
Very connected, yes.
Doesn't go very far. And then it has become an integral part of our culture. And so in every home that you go, there will always be a bottle of Ray and Nephew overproof. It is so funny if you see Jamaicans coming into Kennedy or Miami Airport, everybody coming with their cartons, you know, the Ray and Nephew rum carton. And, I mean, the immigration and customs officers just know it off the book of their hands. So they said, okay, you're bringing in that strong rum? They said, yes, you need to pay duty. Right? But it is so ingrained in our culture that when we are born as babies, our moms would take a little tip of it and put right in the center of our head the mole, and that would ward away, you know, you catching a flu, getting ill. Then growing up as children, and if we have to come from school in the rain and we know we're going to catch a cold, we get a little hot toddy and they put you wrapped in a blanket, and overnight you sweat out the fever, and next day you're good to go. And then
not advised in the United States. Okay.
No. And then when you're building your home, the people who are going to do the construction, they are not going to start the foundation unless they get a bottle of Ray and Nephew overproof to sprinkle in the foundation. So much so that we have a new campaign in Jamaica called Culture for Ray and Nephew overproof. And in that culture, you could see them sprinkling the rum in the foundation of a house that's being built. And they will tell people, if you don't sprinkle Ray and Nephew in that foundation, you're going to have bad luck in that house. And so, to be on the safe side, everybody just sprinkles Ray and Nephew in the foundation. And then when you die, the people who are digging the grave, they are not going to start digging that grave unless they sprinkle some Ray and Nephew overproof in that grave. And so it is just, wow. You know, it's just part of our DNA.
That's incredible. It's incredible how it's such a deep part of the culture. And then as much as they're putting it on everything, they're also drinking it and enjoying it in so many different,
Drinking it in large quantities. I cook a lot with it, like when I'm making my curry goat. And when I'm simmering it down at the end, I just pour some Ray and Nephew overproof, and that gives a completely different flavor profile to the curry.
So I think there's something special about Jamaica rum with Ray and Nephew overproof, with the Appleton Estate and the more sophisticated flavor. But there's something really special and unique. Can you talk about what makes Jamaica rum unique?
First of all, I say that Jamaica rum is the king of funk, right? Meaning that our rums have this beautiful, funky, bold, complex notes. And when people think of funk, they just think of, say, like a Ray and Nephew overproof or, other overproofs that we have on the market. But I tell them that when we start with the distilled spirit for Appleton Estate, it has all those beautiful funky notes. But the minute it goes into the barrel to start aging, that magical takes place. And so I now refer to Appleton Estate as sophisticated funk, where everything now has transformed, getting other notes such as vanilla, coffee, cocoa, almond spice, hazelnut.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaican rum has this distinctive flavor profile. And so this is why people clamor for Jamaican rum, no matter what distillery is producing it.
I love, and it's so interesting because there's this very unique, right? Rum is made all over the world. It's made in all sorts of different ways. There's something really special about Jamaica rum. And I know that you like you said, people clamor for it. It's necessary in so many of these classic tiki tropical drinks, like the Mai Tai, like the Planter's Punch, what's the last one I'm trying? Oh, the Jungle Bird, of course, with Campari.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you've been working to protect this idea of what Jamaica rum is and protect what is called Jamaica rum. Can you talk a little bit? I know the GI is soon come, like it's not here yet, but you've been working towards these and working with the government to kind of delineate what makes Jamaica rum Jamaica rum. Can you talk a little bit about what those things are?
Well, in December 2018, we actually attained a geographical indication for Jamaica rum. But at the moment, we are making some minor edits for it with discussions with our other distillers. But for it to be Jamaica rum, one, you must ferment with Jamaican limestone filtered water. You must distill in Jamaica. You must age and bottle in Jamaica. And no additives are allowed in Jamaica rum, apart from a small amount of caramel just for color consistency. But the amount of caramel that is allowed has absolutely no impact on the taste. It's just to standardize the color. And so very, very key, important points for Jamaica rum. And of course, if you have an age statement, it must be minimum age. It must be similar to the Scotch whiskey or bourbon system.
So for me, that's really helpful because I used to be a bartender. So when I was a bartender, knowing those kind of things was really helpful because when I poured it for a guest, I would say, this is Jamaica rum, or something like, that this would be useful to me because I would say something like, okay, this is Jamaica rum. And that what makes that special now is that we know these things. We know these things to be true about this thing you're about to enjoy. And like you said, it's made in Jamaica, Jamaican water, it's aged in Jamaica, it's bottled in Jamaica. So it comes from a place. It has true, like to quote you, it has true provenance.
Yes.
And then this other piece you said, I can tell you that the number on the bottle, if it has an age statement, that means that that's the youngest of anything in that bottle, which
Yes.
is different from other aging systems and other kind of.
Unfortunately, the rum industry is really not an even playing field when it comes to declaring ages or what is allowed in their definition of rum. So you have three ways of describing ages. You have the minimum age system, which is what we use. Then there's the average age system, which again has a number on the package, which is just an average of old and younger rums. And then you have the Solera system, which is a particular type of blending style. And of course, the number on that package is just indicating the oldest rum in that particular blend, but it is not a minimum age. But consumers are looking just at numbers and not understanding that each of those means something completely different. And this is why we're spending so much time with consumer education in explaining to everyone what those numbers mean and why the Appleton estate is genuine when we have a number on our package.
And that's so helpful. That's such a good, as a bartender, and there's a lot of bartenders listening today, that's such a good thing to know about Appleton rum, that we use minimum aging. And then that other piece you said that I think is the most key is that there's nothing added. There's no added sugar. There's no added flavor. Can you talk a little bit about how that's different from maybe some other rums?
Yes, so they've been doing analysis on a lot of the other rums in the market, and you actually have rums on the market that have as much as 46 grams per liter of sugar in them, a whole ton load of sugar. So the sweetness that you're getting from those rums is not natural. It doesn't come from the process. And so we are not allowed at the moment by any form of regulation to declare any nutritional information on our package. So therefore, consumers have no idea that all additives are in the rums. There are even rums in the market that have glycerol in them because they're adding glycerol to simulate lengthy aging when you actually turn the glass to look at those legs. And you think that those legs are coming from lengthy aging in the oak, when it's really the glycerol they've added to the rum to give you that effect. And so unfortunately, because there's no requirement for nutritional declaration, the consumer is just, going and purchasing blindly.
Yeah. And also just to say, there's a lot of like rum fans here. There's nothing wrong with adding sugar to your rum. It's just something that we don't like. There's lots of different styles of making rum.
Exactly.
But the Jamaica rum, there is no sugar added.
Right. And all I'm saying is declare it on your package and let the consumer know, well, it has sugar in it. I purchase it still. But you need to be very fair to the consumer, because you really do have persons who cannot drink anything with sugar in it.
Right.
Going blindly, not knowing.
And also as a bartender, I think this is important too. As a bartender, it's good to know how much sugar is in the rum you're using so that you can calibrate how much sugar you're going to add to your drink. So for us at Appleton, it's really easy because there's no sugar added. We're a Jamaica rum. So you're, as a bartender, always going to be in control of your sweetness level. That you know that what you're adding to it is the only sugar that's being added to your drink is what you add into it. So I think that's always a really important point when I talk to bartenders about Jamaica rum.
That's so true.
Yeah. So we have about 5 more minutes. And then Pete is going to have a few questions, I believe, for you at the end. But I would love for you, I have a couple more questions. I would love for you to tell us about the new Appleton 8, the Reserve, and what is changing from what we used to call Appleton Reserve to what we're now calling Appleton 8-year-old Reserve.
Well, in 1999, I was asked to develop rum to celebrate the 250th anniversary of Appleton Estate. And I made 2 expressions, the Reserve International and the Reserve 8-year-old. So the Reserve 8-year-old was only sold in the UK and Asia Pacific. But for 2020, we have done a global relaunch, and this relaunch is part of our strategy to become the leader in the premium age rum category. And so we knew that we had to now introduce minimum age rums after our signature, right? To actually solidify this particular goal. And so we brought back the Appleton Reserve 8-year-old, Appleton Estate Reserve 8-year-old. Now, this rum is bottled at 43% ABV, and it has this beautiful spicy fruity notes wrapped with warm honeyed oak, beautiful vanilla and orange peel notes, which is a hallmark of the range. Its finish is exceptionally smooth with that warm honeyed oak finish. And so it's just perfect, either just having neat or on the rocks or in a very elegant cocktail such as Mai Tai.
Jasmine put this really beautifully. She said we were kind of working with an orchestra before, and now we're working more with like a jazz quartet. So we used a lot more marks before, and now we're using less marks, but really like, can you speak a little bit about that process?
Okay, so the previous Reserve blend had up to 20 different components in it. For the Reserve 8-year-old, because we're focusing on minimum age, we wanted to, concentrate those aromas, make them more specific. And so we reduced the number of marks, but we're using, very premium age marks to create this blend. And so we had that transformation taking place to the Reserve 8-year-old.
Can you have a bottle with you? Can you hold that bottle up and show us? I don't have a bottle today. Yeah, can you? So I just want to show everyone, this is a huge change for Appleton Estate. And
let me see.
Yeah, that's it's close enough. At least they can see the bottle. The shape is different. We've added a cap, a cork on the cap.
Yes, so we now have a cork finish, making it premium. We have a beautiful neck label. And of course, we have our new label with the insignia that you're seeing behind me there on the wall. And this is just a combination of the Jamaican national symbols. It now has my signature actually fused into the bottle. Also, this was quite a big surprise to me. And so it is extremely premium, beautiful. Actually,
it's beautiful. And it's easy to pick up. We did a lot of testing. Jocelyn and I worked with holding the bottle, making sure it fit in the rails, making sure we could easily use them and pour them It feels great in the hand, and it's just so elegant. I'm really excited to see this new incarnation of Appleton and really make it feel as premium as it is.
Yep. Beautiful.
So, okay. So I have like one more question. Okay. So, what is, I love this question Dwayne asked you the other day, so I want to ask you as well. He said, what would you, after all this years, and you're not retiring anytime soon, I don't think, but after all these years in the rum industry, what would you like to be known for and remembered for as your role in the industry?
I think I would like to be known as an excellent ambassador for Jamaica rum, someone who has elevated the image of Jamaica rum to a more premium spirit, one that actually brought passion to the industry, and just to have a very charming influence, a spirited influence on Jamaica.
Yeah.
And of course, to actually, as I said, spread the joy of rum all over the world. No pun intended.
Love that. Pete, do you have any questions from the audience that you want to bring in?
So many questions.
Okay, I figured there was going to be a few, so I wanted to leave you some time.
Perfect. And thank you guys so much. That was amazing. Really great to hear the history. So fun. I think everybody's on the comments is ready for your cooking show. So if you're looking for
Me too.
that sounds like it's got a lot of legs. All right. We have a ton of questions. I'm just going to pick based on voting. We actually have 16 questions here. I'm going to go with the most voted. So first is, which old Ray and Nephew or Appleton rum would you most like to see remade?
That I would like to see remade.
Yes.
Three Dago and Renevy 17.
Oh, that's a good segue.
This is what everyone always asks about.
Segue.
I don't even ask because I know everyone's going to.
If it's not been mentioned, can we talk a little bit about Appleton's view of Ray and Nephew 17? Do you have a way of recreating its profile? You set me up for that.
Sure, it's easy. Remember, we have very old stocks.
It's easier when you're selling 15 cases to keep them.
Don't get their hopes up, Joy. Yeah.
Good. All right. Can you talk about the differences between the three Appleton pot still expressions bottled in conjunction with Vellier?
Oh my gosh. It has not been released yet, so I cannot give any details.
Oh,
but come November.
All right, let's pick
She's
one
so
more.
nice when she says no. It's so charming. She's so good at it.
Here's an interesting one. Is there any interest from you in doing finishes or aging in wood other than ex-bourbon?
Yeah, that has always been my passion, and I think before I leave, it will be a possibility. Yes.
Nice. Awesome. Very cool.
Well,
thank
so
you
Joy,
again so much.
Why don't I have one? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like to just ask this one question before we close, just to say thank you to Joy and for doing this with us. What is the one thing about Jamaica rum and Appleton especially that you'd want people to take with them and take home with them to their bars, to their family members, to whoever they're going to talk to about rum tonight?
Well, for Appleton Estate is a true premium range of rums, suitable for any occasion. We have rums that are great just for making cocktails with your favorite mixer, like our signature. A rum that is a good transition rum from cocktails into the sipping rum category, or Appleton Estate 8-year-old. And then we have our two sipping rums, or Appleton Estate Rare past 12-year-old and our 21-year-old. So you can just have these bottles at home, and depending on the type of guests that you have coming, you could have like 20 people, and one will be having a cocktail with signature. You'll have some having reserving a very high-end cocktails, for example, just like a daiquiri or so. And other people just be having 12 neat or 21 neat. It just depends on the profile of the individual and what they like. And so this is what makes this range so beautiful and unique, is that, you know, it has such a depth to it. It's just like, you know, reggae music with so many different expressions.
I love it. Okay, Pete.
Very cool. So don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to make a cocktail now. We're going to add Aaron in. How you doing?
Aaron!
There's the 8. There's the 8.
There it is.
There's the 8.
We're going to put up the spec real quick. This shouldn't be a shocker or hard to make for anybody at home. So we're doing the reserve old fashioned. I'll hand it off to Aaron now to kind of walk us through this.
I gotta say, Joy, it was a pleasure hearing that, and I can literally listen to you talk all day long. It's such a joy just to hear the passion and the stories that you have imparted on us. But I know people are thirsty, so let's make a cocktail. Starting off with this lovely, lovely cocktail, we're gonna start off with 4 dashes of Angostura bitters, maybe 5. And then for our sweetener, we're gonna add about a half ounce of Demerara sugar syrup. And then finally, the star of any old fashioned is gonna be the spirit. And as you spoke elaborately about the Appleton 8, I am very excited to use this in this old fashioned. This is the very first time I am using this. And just from the smell, it's got me with the Kool-Aid smile. So here we go. And we're gonna add 2 ounces of our Appleton 8-year. Get a little bit of ice. And I'm so used to shaking everything, Pete, on these cocktail segments that stirring is actually relaxing. So
there you go. It's also relaxing for me to let Louise do all the work, and I just kick back.
Yeah, this is a very laid-back segment. Absolutely. So we'll strain that over our ice and our rocks glass. I apologize for not having large format ice, but still keep it.
Hold it against you.
Thank you, thank you. And then express a nice orange peel over the glass. Place it in the cocktail, and our Appleton Estate 8-year old fashioned.
Love it.
Delicious.
I'll put that spec up.
That's great.
Here. You guys are totally encouraged to make this at home. Post it. Hashtag Tiki by the Sea at Tiki by the Sea NJ. We love seeing your drinks made at home. I really need one of these. Hopefully somebody can mail me one shortly.
Drizzly.
Fantastic. All right. So in case you guys want to stay in touch, here is contact information for Anne Louise, email, Facebook, ton of different IG handles, and the Appleton.
I know.
Website.
There's a lot of ways to get a hold of me. Campari Community is our project where we always have updates on what's going on. And then also I'm just my personal at Campari and Soda for anything work related. You can find me on the internet.
Find her on the internet. Amazing. All right. Now, without further ado, we're bringing on. I'm going to put you guys away for a second. Hold on. Hi, Mom and Dad.
Hello
Cheers.
there.
Cheers.
Cocktail. Love it.
Having a reserve old fashioned.
Amazing. I'm not. I'm having a soda water, so I'm definitely missing out here. Yeah.
While we're roasting clams.
What's that?
While we're roasting clams.
Oh yeah, let's see the clams. Can you hold up some clams for everybody? That's one of the favorite endeavors of Tiki by the Sea in the live edition is actually having the clam bake. Well, we'll just have to take your word for it. We'll come in close later on that. Up. Oh, okay. There you go. There you go. Nice. Okay, some of those too.
Big mound. Big mound.
How's Wildwood doing? How's the weather down there? What's going on?
It's gorgeous. There's white puffy clouds. It's not humid. It's beautiful. Beautiful here in Wildwood Crest, New Jersey.
Oh, I'm very jealous of that.
Yeah.
Rain.
You want to get him
Nice
back in?
meeting
What's he doing? You see, this is what he does. Can't get away from the grill. You're being interviewed. Are you ready for your questions, Dad?
Okay.
Well, I gotta wait for him. Everybody's waiting.
Okay.
All right. Best cocktail you had at Tiki by the Sea. Best cocktail.
Oh, there's so many.
You
I
have
don't
had a
know.
lot of them.
So many.
Pick one.
I don't even know the name. The one, there was a one with Amburana and Skol. It was delicious.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was like a green one. You're talking about that? That was from
Yeah.
Tiki Pete
Yes.
at Cellar 335 in New Jersey. All right, next question. Favorite Tiki by the Sea memory?
Oh, it has to be when that big truck was here, the monkeys. That the
Monkey shoulder
dump truck.
mixer.
That was
By big
awesome.
truck, I think you
People were
mean
driving
cement
by.
mixer cocktail from Vance Henderson and Monkey Shoulder Scotch, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we
Stop
had a
traffic.
cement mixer in the parking lot of the Barcelona. That was big
Yeah.
news in Wildwood for sure. They're probably still talking about it. All right. Favorite speaker? Who's your favorite speaker at Tiki by the Sea?
That's Cleve, Brother Cleve.
Brother Cleve is
Come on.
obviously yes.
Brother Cleve.
The icon.
Sorry, son, you didn't make
Yeah, that's all right. I already knew that was going to be the answer. All right. Strangest thing someone left behind. Strangest thing someone left behind.
Oh, I don't know if we can say that on the air.
We're all adults here. This is a 21 plus program.
Oh, some interesting shirts, some other items that, more intimate items.
Intimate
Personal-
items. There you go. There you go.
Personal items,
That's my mom for you. Just so everybody knows, my parents host Tiki by the Sea live version. Everybody stays at the Barcelona, and in a bunch of rooms, and sometimes leave in out of sorts. All right. Describe your initial impression of the idea when I first mentioned it to you. Initial impression. What are you thinking?
I never believed it. I thought you were blowing smoke. I can still remember you sitting at a table, stuffing your face with Nate and a couple other people talking about this is one of our clam bakes, saying, "Oh, it'd be a good idea to bring some bartenders down here, hang out, maybe eat some good stuff." And then we got roped into Tiki by the Sea.
There you go. Maybe you should do your own cooking show also. There's a lot of cooking shows being born today. The Wildwood Cooking Show, hosted at Barcelona.
There you go.
Here, I'm going to have to put in Steva because I'm sure she wants to say hello to you guys. And Aaron. Oh, he's not there. There he is.
Awesome.
We
cocktail.
miss you.
Hi. We miss you so much.
Jenny, how's your cocktail?
What's up?
I said, how was your cocktail?
It's delicious. Very nice. Very nice. Smooth.
There
I
you
know
go.
you use a
Very good.
too, but imagine I made it for you.
We might need to do like a winter meetup at the Barcelona.
I'm ready.
not-
Take me now.
Now let's go. Let's
Like my
go.
second home. I miss my second home.
Well, wait, your second home. This is you too.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh.
14
That's
days when you come here. That government doesn't like.
Yeah,
So
the
what new construction projects have been created since last year?
Oh, that's a good question. Construction projects?
oh yeah. What have you built?
What do you build, Dad?
More bathrooms. Doing more bathrooms.
Very exciting.
bathrooms, tiling a couple of floors in the apartments. And
Gonna get new cabinets in our kitchen. Cabinets,
Oh.
they're ordered.
Wow.
Oh.
That's amazing. Those cabinets have been there since 1981, right?
Since, that's right.
yeah, they're ancient, like somebody else came in 1981.
Well played. Well played. Yeah. Interestingly, I was born in the same year the place was built, although you didn't own it. Steva, you have any questions for the spiritual hub here of Tiki by the Sea?
Have you gained any new rubber ducks since last year?
Oh, no, not too much, not more.
Really?
Not anymore. No. Been a hiatus on rubber duckies.
I'm gonna find one.
Actually,
This one came,
a Siberian rubber ducky.
yeah.
Ah,
Siberian.
yeah.
Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be that?
Oh yeah.
Is there anything you
Yes,
guys want to say
the,
to the Tiki family out there?
Oh, we miss you guys.
Oh.
It's so much fun. It really is. It's a lot of work, but it's so much fun. We miss all you guys.
Oh,
You're
man.
so cool. Yeah.
He's
That's
only
very
saying
sweet
that to
message.
people who pick up after themselves.
Well, you know what the best part is the booze that gets left behind.
Yeah.
Some of our
There's some Appleton. There's some Appleton that's been left behind. You guys
Yeah.
look at that. All the benefits.
It's spoils, riches of the spoils. That's what you get for having it at the Barcelona.
Awesome. So good to see you guys. Thank you for joining us. Stick around for one moment.
Oh, thank you for having us.
All right, next week we have Ivy Mix, author and owner of Leyenda, talking about stories from the sugarcane trail. Super excited for this one. Let's get everybody back on to say a little goodbye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you for having us.
Barcelona.
Bye, guys.
Great.
You got
Thank you so much.
it, Joy.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Anna.
Thank you, guys. This was great.
Thank you.
Hugging the pineapple. You guys are amazing. Look forward to seeing you next week on another session.